But let's begin this half hour with that fender bender in Florida and the alleged cover-up that could cost at least 4 police officers their jobs. NBC's Mark Potter is in Hollywood, Florida this morning. Mark, good morning to you.
And good morning, Matt. Here at the Hollywood Police Department, the chief says the officers involved in that incident are all under investigation after recording technology, which usually helps the police, in this case actually helped the accused.
Hey, why are you guys here?
In an odd twist of events, 23-year-old Alexandria Torrens-Vilas was invited to the Hollywood, Florida Police Department to give a statement against the very same officers who had arrested her months before.
What we have here are a bunch of officers conspiring to manufacture evidence to create a crime.
Go ahead.
Last February, Torrens-Vilas was arrested on DUI charges after she stepped on her brakes and was rear-ended by a Hollywood police car. She said she stopped because a cat she was carrying had jumped out of her window.
I swear, that's exactly what it did.
The car was moving when this occurred?
Yes.
After handcuffing Torrens-Vilas and putting her in the police car,
Walk over here.
several officers are next heard on their own dash camera microphone, using that same cat story to try to shift blame for the auto accident away from the officer, who, because he hit her from behind, could be ticketed.
I don't want to make things up ever, because it's wrong. But if I need to bend a little bit to protect the cop, I'm done.
At first, the officers came up with a story that the cat distracted the officer.
I'm going to put words in his mouth. You want to accelerate? A cat jumped out, literally a cat jumped out the window, which he thought could have been a pedestrian, which distracted him.
Later, officers talk about filing a report blaming Torrens-Vilas for quickly changing lanes.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to word it that she's in the left-hand lane. Okay. And that when the cat jumped out, she abruptly cut over this lane and slammed on the brakes. Okay.
On Friday, the Hollywood police chief announced that 3 officers and 2 others have been suspended. All charges against Torrens-Vilas have been dropped, and now the officers are under investigation. And defense attorneys say, in addition to finding that the incident report had been falsified, also say they discovered that the videotapes sent to prosecutors by those officers had also been edited, and the part about the officers changing their story had been left out. Matt?
All right, Mark Potter in Florida for us this morning. Mark, thank you very much. Alex Torrens-Vilas is with us exclusively, along with one of her lawyers, Mark Gold, the founder of the Ticket Clinic. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Morning, Matt. This is a little bit complicated. This happened in February. When were you told that this tape existed that has on it what we just heard?
Almost exactly 2 weeks ago is when my lawyer Larry and I watched the tape together and discovered that.
And you're sitting there watching this tape together and you're hearing, well, what I'm going to say is this, and we're going to blame this on her. How did you feel when you heard this?
It confirmed everything that I thought. You know, like I knew that that's not what happened that night, and it just confirmed everything that I was saying from the beginning.
I want to clarify something, because when we're listening to these officers on that tape make these statements, the video we're seeing right there is of you sitting there. It makes it sound as if, or look as though, you could hear everything they were saying. You couldn't hear any of this.
No, I didn't know. No.
You were not actually in your car when it was rear-ended by the police officer, correct?
Exactly.
So when that officer finally came over to you and you were off looking for your cat, what's the first thing you said to that officer?
Can you give me 5 minutes to go save my cat?
You didn't say anything about what might have happened that caused the accident.
Didn't even know.
This is important now. There have been reports that you told the officer that you had been drinking. Did you say that to the officer?
Yes. I'm not going to lie.
Did you say how much you'd been drinking?
I estimated.
Did they give you a breathalyzer test at the scene?
No, not till I was taken to the station.
And what were the results of that breathalyzer test?
Matt, I'm going to just need to jump in here for a second, because what's important to know here is that Officer Dewey Presley, who was the ringleader of this entire incident, was the same person that gave her the breath test results and recorded the breath test results.
So when the report is that the breathalyzer came back and that you were 2 times the legal alcohol limit, are you now questioning the validity of that test?
We have to question the validity of this entire incident. Dewey Presley, the man who suggested he was going to create this Walt Disney to get Officer Francisco off the hook was the same person that that administered the breath test.
Well, let me ask Alex a simple question. Do you think, based on what you had to drink that night, it's possible that you were 2 times over the legal limit for alcohol? No. You don't think so?
No.
Basically speaking, if the breathalyzer test was accurate, and you're questioning the validity of it, if it's accurate, then these cops in some strange way did you a huge favor, because by their idiocy, they gave you a get-out-of-jail-free card. I mean that figuratively.
Only because we found that on the tape.
Because the charges have since been dropped.
Yes, they have.
So do you plan some sort of litigation against these officers?
We are absolutely looking into civil litigation. It's a federal offense, a violation of their constitutional rights under Section 1983. So absolutely, we're looking into that now.
Monetary damages?
Absolutely.
Is that what you look for? How has this impacted you? I mean, how do you view law enforcement after this?
I still have the utmost respect for all of them. You know, just because you have a couple of bad apples doesn't mean the whole orchard is rotten. I don't know how that saying goes. But no, I had planned on returning back to Georgetown University this fall, and that was delayed because I didn't know, if I was convicted, would I have to do probation? I can't leave the state. Besides the time and the financial distress I had to go through. But more than that, my reputation and was, you can't buy that back, Well,
Alex, we're going to follow the case, see what happens to these officers in particular down in Florida. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.